Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Car Biz Leaders Live. My name is Rachel Blatt, and I am your host, presented by my company, Royalty Logistics. I have a great show for you today. We have the one and only Shawn Hayes. You may know him as the sales hustler. You may also know him from his book, Build Your Brand. And also just a very well-rounded car guy, GM of CMA's Colonial Chevrolet, and a journey all the way to get there. So without further ado, I'm going to get this party started, and then we'll bring him on in a second. So here we go. Well, awesome, guys. Let's welcome Shawn Hayes to the show. Hey, Shawn, how are you?
Hey, Rachel, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for being on today and sharing your success and your journey. And if you want, you just tell, I gave you a great intro, but if you want to give yourself one too, I have no problem with that. So if you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, that'd be awesome.
My name is Shawn Hayes, and I've done nothing in life. I'm nobody, and I'm just here because she had nobody else right now to talk to.
No, you're so modest.
I'm a longtime car guy, and worked my way up the old-fashioned way, and through social media and through networking and through exposure, I ended up not only positioning myself to where I'm now the GM of a major franchise dealership here in Virginia, but I do some other things too, which is really, really cool. All car related, all sales related, and just trying to help others like myself get to where I am.
I think that's important, is like the key to success really is helping other people get success. I find that to be like the most rewarding part of the journey. Let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, let's go back. Tell me about your journey from working your way up and how that went for you.
Obviously, like a lot of us, I found the car business on accident, which is really cool. A lot of people do. I think it's, I don't know, it's a land of the misfit toys. Yeah. And I was one of them. I stumbled in on accident after trying to find my way in life. I found sales in '97, but it was door to door. And that was a grueling, hard job, but I got a lot of really, really good training. And the great part about that is how hard it was knocking door to door, getting the decision maker, getting past the gatekeeper, getting 5-10 minutes with somebody that could actually make a decision. Really, really kind of laid the groundwork for me to become not just good at what I was doing, but the ability to take rejection, overcome the rejection, and just deal with it and compartmentalize it really helped me. Then also, that was '97, I think I got in, and that was the world of the telecom boom, and that was what industry I was in. I was living in downtown Chicago at that time, and I was going door to door in the skyscrapers.
Yeah, great city, by the way. Love that.
Oh, it's my favorite. It was awesome, but awesome place to be. Single, 20-something at that time. You know, it was great. But but the greatest part about that, with the telecom boom, came a lot of investor money, which a lot of those investors, you know, just had endless checks. They would write these companies, and they brought us in the best training there ever was. Like literally, I would get just best hands-on training on a daily basis. And it really, really helped me because it honed my skills. And then the daily grind of day-to-day, door-to-door sales really, really helped me. I think it helped me so much when I got in the car business in '07 that I had already had that background, where a lot of the guys that I was competing with at these dealerships, they didn't have that kind of training when I got in there. So they were just kind of doing what their sales manager at that time had taught them. And I come in with actual real official understanding of sales and the process of the sale. So it kind of really helped me hit the ground running.
How Tell me about some of those like early lessons that you learned. So maybe we can sort of highlight some of those like really those important tips of selling that really just kind of maybe something people aren't, it's not in a regular sales book or anything like that. Give us some
Well,
good, give us some
I
little
found out
tidbits.
I found out early on that it was not really about the product as much as it was learning the need of the customer
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
creating the need and finding the need, creating more urgency of the need, and then
Mm-hmm.
making sure that I had the product that would fix that need. And I think a lot
Right.
of people in our industry or just any sales aspect, they don't take the time to find out what the problem is. I believe every customer that comes on your lot or in any, I don't care if you work at Home Depot or you
Mm-hmm.
work at Best Buy or you work at a car dealership like we, every customer has a problem. I know they try to tell us that they don't, they're just looking, but they literally have a problem. They wouldn't come waste their day to come to the
Right.
car dealership, right? So you just
Right.
have to take the time. You have to break down those walls. I was really good at breaking down the walls that
Mm-hmm.
customers like to build up.
Yeah.
And then I would just, once I found the door cracked open a little bit, I would wedge my foot in there and just, do what we do, right? Get in there, find some
Mm-hmm.
rapport, ask them. I always ask a couple really need questions, and then I ask
Mm-hmm.
a couple rapport building questions. And I think that's very important too. Don't just be like an interviewer, or don't be just too much
Mm-hmm.
rapport. You have to do kind of a good mix of both. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people they don't take the time to find the need and,
Right.
and the desire that people have to buy a car, and they forget that it's an emotional buying experience.
Yeah.
When people buy things, man, there's emotion involved with that. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what they're buying, and you know, if you're just an analytical seller, or if you're just an information seller, or you're
Mm-hmm.
just an emotional seller, you're going to miss
Mm-hmm.
some of those customers. What you need to
Yeah.
do is get good at all three of those, right? You
Right.
got to you got to understand people's personalities, and
Exactly.
I think this is a problem that a lot of salespeople they don't learn people's personalities. They don't learn what an analytical buyer is needing.
Yeah.
They don't understand what an emotional buyer is needing. They don't understand what a dominant buyer is needing,
Right.
right? And all those buyers are different, and it's your job to get in there and find out what type of buyer you have, what makes them a buyer from you, and then you got
Mm-hmm.
to fill that need.
I love that so much. And to be honest with you, we talked a little bit on the phone prior. You were able to like zero in on me and like find a connection like right away. Like, Rachel, you have ADD. He's like, don't worry. I'm like, oh, good. He's like, I have it too. And so I think when you can find something that you guys have in common and connect on that and just zero in on that personality, it was like automatically like, oh yeah, we're the same person, and we can be on the same wavelengths together, and then you can move along. And one of the things I was going to say to that is sometimes the need too is simply, I just need a new car. Like sometimes that is, it can be, we don't have to overcomplicate some things. Sometimes it's just like, I need a new car. And that's the problem that you're trying to solve too. I actually, how I found you was, and I want to talk about this because I think it's really important. I know you do some coaching, but how I found you was Scott's, I think it's Simmons or Simons, I can't remember
Scott
pronounce his name.
Simons.
Simons. Scott Simons posted a Facebook about like, who's your mentor? And I saw your name pop up so many times. Which is why I wanted to reach out to you, because so many people are looking to you for advice and help. So, how did that come about? And how do you kind of coach people and help people to reach their success?
Well, that came by accident too. A lot of the things I stumble upon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in 2017, I
Mm-hmm.
was a bored salesman sitting on a showroom floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in sales. I'm selling anywhere from 20 to 30 a month, but I had done that for a long, long time, 10 years actually in
Mm-hmm.
sales, in car sales. And I had just hit kind of a plateau. I was bored, to be honest with you. I've gotten
Mm-hmm.
bored with my job. And a lot of people are like that in our industry. They've done it so long, they've repeated it so many times. They don't have goals. Nobody taught them, nobody had coached them along and said, hey, okay, now that you've hit this, you're number one at your dealership. We need to
Mm-hmm.
raise the level. What's your next level? Because if you don't
Mm-hmm.
raise the next level, you settle into a comfortability, and that comfortability kind of clamps down on you, and you don't grow anymore. And then you just get bored in your life. It happens in marriages, it happens
Mm-hmm.
in relationships, and it happens in
Mm-hmm.
your career, right? Why do you think people get tired in relationships? It's because
Mm-hmm.
they settle in every night, they come home, they do the exact same thing, they settle in, they watch
Mm-hmm.
TV, they go to sleep, they get up and they go to work and they do the same thing, right? So what you
Right.
have to do is keep finding different goals. So anyways, I got bored, and I said, I got to shake it up. I got to find something else. So I decided, okay,
Right.
I'm going to be a GM in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I set my goal as that. Now, how did I
Mm-hmm.
do it? I don't know, because I went to my bosses there, and they had no desire to promote anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Shawn, we think you're the best. We love you, but I have two managers in place. They've been with me for day one. They're not going anywhere. Okay,
Right.
I'm the owner, he says, and I'm the GM. So there's no GSM and there's two sales managers. You got no promotion here. And
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't see any way to grow there. So what I said is, I need exposure. I need
Yeah.
people in this industry to know what talents I have and what
Mm-hmm.
value I can bring their dealership. So I got on social media the next day. All
Right.
right. In March of 2017. And I created the persona, Shawn Hayes, your car guy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I made my first video that day. And literally for the next 3 years, every single day at 8 o'clock, no matter if I was working or not, I did a live video helping other salespeople get better in
Mm-hmm.
sales and in life and personal
Right.
situations at 8 o'clock every morning for 3 years. That gained a
Yeah.
lot of following, and I didn't want anything from anybody. I never asked for a dollar. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
asking for anything. I just did it because it was inspiring me,
Mm-hmm.
and B, I was helping other people. So
Right.
if I can help other people and get more inspiration out of myself, this was a win-win for me, I saw.
Right.
And so then, I was getting a lot of following. I started a
Right.
Facebook group
Yeah.
called Sales Hustlers. It now has almost 17,000 members of sales professionals in car
Yeah.
sales. And I started coaching in there and teaching and doing my videos and like just helping people, right? So next thing I know, that is kind of how that all developed and started.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really, really awesome, because I've seen a lot of people grow in this industry. And a
Sure.
lot of people hit me on the DMs and say, thank you so much. I've been promoted. Thank you so much. You've helped me this, and you've helped me with my relationship at home with my
Mm-hmm.
wife and
Yeah.
things like that. And that was really, really rewarding for me. So in a nutshell, I got self-promotion and I got to
Yeah.
help other people. So it was a
Yeah.
reward both ways.
I think too that so many people expect something um like the way of success, the way of financial reward is to really help other people. Like you must give in order to get, right?
Right.
I think that is one of the things that I'm coming across is just like the more and more that I help people, the more and more that I take a step back, and the more times I do it without any expectation of something in return, the more rewarded I get, either by them or by the universe or however that works. I find that to be a very interesting point. One of the things I wanted to ask you is like who became your mentor? Who are some of the people that you've looked to just sort of help you along the way? Or like,
I think that's changed a little bit through the growth.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
So I believe, like, if people don't grow themselves, if they stop growing, then you're going to reach a point that they can't grow you anymore. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So I think I had some different people along the way. Three and a
yeah,
half, 4 years later, here I am. But I think my original people that were mentoring me, I didn't have good mentorship growing up. I didn't
right,
have good mentorship in my 20s. It wasn't
mhm,
until I stepped out and asked for some mentors that I got some people. Now, I only took those people so far because after a while they couldn't grow me anymore. So then
right,
I would get other people. I've had, some great people. I've had Glenn Lundy's. I've had,
mhm,
Frank Crinitti, Dave
mhm,
Benson. I've had
yeah,
Alex Flores. There's many, many people that I've had. Scott Simons, David Villa,
yeah,
Liza
yeah,
Fortress, who's the CEO of our company. I've had a lot of them. And the greatest part about it is none of them have wanted anything from me. Right.
right,
None of
Right.
them. And all of them, I can reach out to at any moment, and they would drop whatever they're doing and help me because, that's just the people they are. So I've kind of
Yeah.
patterned myself in that exact same way. And I think they understand that about me, and that I've never asked anything of anybody either. So they then in return give that exact same thing to me. Another one is Danelle Delgado. She's been awesome
Yeah.
in my life. So a
Yeah.
lot of those people.
And some of those people are very familiar too. I had Frank on the show earlier, and you can kind of see some of his. He's like he'll push, push, push beyond that expectation. Love that about him, and just kind of keep setting the bar higher and higher. I can see some of that influence in you, and that list is a great list too. I mean, you can find any of those people, guys, on social media. They make themselves very known, especially in our industry. And just really positive. And I can attest to the fact that many people the true players, the true successful people, they'll help anybody. And I think that's wonderful. Like I could call up Frank and just say, hey, can I use your likeness in my video? And he was like, sure. And gave me the time of day. And he's selling tons of cars, and I know they're busy. So
Frank's an amazing guy.
Yeah,
I wanted to mention one more. I wanted to mention one more because I don't want him getting upset. Jonathan Dawson's been another great influence in my life and a great help. So,
one of the things that I wanted to tell you is I think that when you offer your help, the most successful people drop anything to help somebody else out. That was like the main point. I think that. And tell me more about Jonathan Dawson.
He's a sales trainer, but more than that, he's a friend. A lot of these people have become close and friends with me.
Yeah.
What's really great about all of them is you get a little bit of difference from each one of them, and I really believe that that's important in your life to have mentors that give you things that are different. They give you different outlooks. They give you different thought processes. Some are high energy, some are low, right? Some are more methodical. Some think like I do, so it's good to have a little bit of all that. But Jonathan, he's a great sales trainer, started a company from scratch. I mean, heck, he had a lot of properties at age 18. He graduated from college at 16.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good. He's pretty brilliant, but all those people are in their own way. So
Keith says, what's up? What up, Keith? Thanks for watching. So tell me a little bit about one of the things that really stuck out to me on this way of success and getting there is you're a goal setter. What are some other things that you do to sort of help propel yourself into becoming a better leader, becoming more successful? What are the other things besides setting goals?
Well, you said two different things there, so I want to touch on that. Leadership is very, very important to me. That there are leaders that haven't developed yet. Okay? They have leadership qualities and capabilities and all the instincts of a leader. Okay. But it is something that you develop over time. It isn't something you can always, people say all the time, are they born or are they bred? Right. As far as leadership, and you can have born leaders. I was a born leader, but I wasn't ready to lead. Okay. So there's a difference. Leaders can be leaders, but it doesn't mean they're ready to lead. And that takes maturity. That takes time going through things. That takes, you have to go through some trials and tribulations. You have to have your hands smacked. You gotta crash and burn, and then you gotta rise up. There's some stuff to that. And I've had all that. And the greatest part about that is I'm able to lead people now better than I was years ago, even though I've always been a leader, right? I can lead people now because I can look them in the eye and I can tell them the truth because I've been through it. I've seen it. I've done it. Right. So, and unbelievable because I don't try to be perfect. I just say that, here's me, here's who I've been. And that's one of the most important things in leadership and on social media is be authentic. Be yourself. Don't worry about the people that try, I feel like there's so much of that on social media where people try to be perfect. They're scared of this or scared of that. And at the end of the day, you've got to just be yourself. It's very, very important. And that's a very important trait in leadership as well. I would rather follow somebody that I know is authentic. I don't want to follow somebody that's fake, but see, I think we get our wires crossed there sometimes and people try to be too perfect. And All you can be is who you are. So I think you develop leadership skills over the years. Now, I think you asked a second part of that question, but I don't remember.
Sorry about that. I asked two at once. It helps it out.
Hey, what's up, Chad Morgan? Nice to see you, buddy. Name just popped up on the screen. That's kind of
cool. We got Keith Wilson and Josh Sullivan, Mike Kozer, like lots of good guys on the show right now.
Okay, cool, man. Tell them all to, hey, share it to Sales Hustlers for me, guys. Appreciate it. But leadership is good and leadership's important. But that is a developed trait. Now, how do you get better at sales is very similar. Have you noticed that the people that go through more experiences and fail and you know, the problem is a lot of times I think it's a craft and a lot of people look at it as a job. You got to stop looking at things as jobs and more of your skill. That's your craft, you know. You got to dig in. You got to do it every morning. So you asked me a second ago, now it just popped into my head, what helps me become successful? And I would say the number one thing you could change, if there's number one thing right now that you could implement and change in your life to become more successful, it would be a morning routine.
Right.
Okay? Without it, I believe that you are going to be behind. Okay. Now, some people are going to argue with me, say, Shawn, I'm a night person. Okay. Shawn, I'm this. Shawn, I'm that. I'm like, look, all that is true. I was the same way. But at the end of the day, if you truly want success to the up to here, you have to alter and change some things in your life. And I would think the number one thing, if all these people, look, every single CEO that I've ever heard, every single successful person that I've ever met, all have the same thing in common. They get up early and start and plan their day. Okay. So if all these people are telling you that, and I'm telling you that, then I'm telling you that number one thing you could change right away is start tomorrow, get up and have a routine. Now, don't just get up to get up and have a plan for your day. Like write it down, plan your day, spend some time on your mind, strengthen this tool right here, because when this is weak, you're weak. Okay. If your mind is weak when you get to work, the first sign of a problem, the first thing that comes at you, it's going to just bind you up.
Right.
It's going to bind you up. You're going to be tense. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to fly off the handle. Like you can't handle it. And then you have buildup on that. It's kind of like plaque buildup, right? And then like after a while, you just lose it. So my point to you is get up in the morning, have a routine, plan your day, strengthen your mind, do some 20 minutes of exercise, and then go to work early. Be to work earlier than everybody else.
Right. Okay.
This was number one with me. Whatever time my managers were there, I showed up 30 minutes before they did.
Right.
Okay. So if they were there at 9, I was there at 8:30 every single day. I got extra deals that way because I was there when nobody else was there. But more importantly, it showed the people that are in charge of making decisions that I am serious, that I am here about business and I want a promotion. The first guy you need to promote will be me. Right. Because I wanted it more than everybody else. And that's important.
I have a question because one of the things that I'm working on is my morning routine. And so my question for you is, how finite do you get in your routine? Like, when you plan it, do you plan it out? Because like, I kind of like to plan things out like, okay, here's, I'm going to go in the bathroom. I'm going to drink my first cup of water. I'm going to try to take my health supplements. You know, like how do you get really granular, or do you just like set some bars? Like, okay, I got to do this, this, and this in the morning. Like I'm going to read, I'm going to write in a journal, or take a shower, then go, before I get on my phone. Tell me something like do you get finite or?
Well, me and you, we need to be finite. Okay. Other people don't need to be finite as much. We're ADHD. We can get off track easy, right? We can get sidetracked. Right? Something could come down our pike and like we could go bing, squirrel, right? So for us, we have to be finite. Without that, we will get off track. So you have to be finite. Yes. The answer to that question is I actually just every morning plan out my whole day, like to the hours. Okay. And I try to stick to them as much as possible. And look, your day might get taken off track. But if you have it broke down to where it is in a finite situation, you can always refer back and get back on track easily. But if you don't have it like that, you can get off track and then stay off track the rest of the day and get nothing accomplished that you needed to get accomplished.
Yeah. Well, like with my ADD too, like it feels like we're running around, like we'll get there and then I go and then I solve a problem and then get back and then you
Right.
solve a problem. And sometimes it does get away from you. And that is my business, right? Like sometimes it's like, it's just going to take me away. How I get back on track though, that is more difficult. And I think one of the goals for me too is just to work that schedule a little tighter. But I do have that ADD, like, oh my God, I didn't push the send button. I just wrote this email and then got sidetracked and then walked away. And then I was like, why didn't I just forget to hit the send button? And, just silly stuff like that. Just life with ADD. So just wonderful things. Wanted to find out a little bit about some of like the mantras that you live by, some of the things that sort of like propel you to stay in the game and push you forward.
I don't really have
or mantras or anything like that you
well, I have one that I kind of live by, and it's I believe a lot of our industry waits for things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you haven't really been on the sales floors as much, but let me just tell you, most car salesmen in America, at least years past, before branding really happened, people sat at the desk, they hoped somebody walked in the front door, or they sat on the golf cart,
Right.
or they sat out what we call on point and wait for somebody to pull up, right? So they're waiting for their life to happen. They're waiting for things to happen. They're waiting for sales to happen. They're waiting for everything to happen. And the sales mantra that we came into when I created Sales Hustlers is Sales Hustlers, we don't wait, we create. And I believe in creating my own opportunities. I've done that. I've created this opportunity that I'm at right now. I created the opportunity to make more money by writing a book. I created more opportunity by putting more exposure out there to get a major company to say, hey, Shawn, will you represent our brand and we'll pay you for this, right? I every single time I'm always creating opportunities, because I feel like if I'm out there creating opportunities and everybody else is waiting for the opportunities, I'm going to be the guy out in the forefront scoring deals.
I love that. I love that. And you can see that happening more and more people as more and more sales guys are getting out there. I see the taking pictures with your customers, and I see the guys walking the sales lots with their videos. And I see a lot of people, this is my favorite one, the driving in my car video.
Yeah.
So this is selfish for me because I want to see some new material, but what are some things besides that we can help our sales guys get a little bit more creative besides the car video, besides walking the lot video? What do you, besides just here's my customer just sold another one, what are some things that you can kind of creatively give to the guys out there that want to do the social media, but we don't want to always look like the same old. So do you have any creative ideas for them to kind of get them out in social media that's not always the same of what everybody else is doing?
Sure, absolutely. You got to know your market. First of all, you got to know your market. And number two, you got to know what you're trying to accomplish. There's two different ways you can go. If you just want exposure because you want to become a social media star and you want, this, and this, then you might have a different avenue that's somebody that's just trying to sell cars off it. So first of all, you got to figure out what your thing is. This is where a lot of people have problems with their content. They're all over the place because they don't have a goal. They're throwing spaghetti against the wall and nothing's sticking because they don't have an actual goal. So first of all, you got to figure out what your goal is. Then you got to take every single thing and say, hey, does this line up with me getting to my goal? Right? And if it doesn't, you don't do it. And if it does, you do it and you do more of it. All right. So if I'm trying to sell cars, I'm not going to do things that don't help further selling cars. Right. So people say, Shawn, why did you always do your videos to help other salesmen? I said, because my goal wasn't to sell more cars. My goal was to get more exposure. So talented people in the industry would see me. I would get speaking engagements. People would say, hey, we want you to work for us. I want you to be our GM. All this stuff happened because I had my goal. I knew exactly what it was, and I didn't veer off from that. Right. So that was when we decided, when I spoke at a conference, and I said, hey, I think we can run our own conference. So we created Hustle and GrindCon. Why? Because that fit in to my narrative of my future goal, right? That still gave me the exposure, that gave me that leadership, that gave me that whatever I needed out there, that people, it was eyes on me, that hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's our guy. He's great at recruiting. He's great at telling, he's great at leadership. And that was my goal. Now, if somebody's just trying to sell cars online and then want to get better at that, then they need to cater to their clientele. What's a customer want? What's their pain points? Send them, do videos based on their pain points. And people also don't want to only hear about car sales. We have to understand they got to get to know you. They got to get to know, and don't get on there and air all your dirty laundry in the middle of controversies that you're going through. But when you learn, when you go through a controversy or a struggle, and you get out the other side and you gain some knowledge, then you can help your audience with that, expertise that you just have. But what I see online is people are all over the place, man. One day they're talking about cars, the next day they're talking about, this and that. My point to that is find out what your goal is, and then use your exposure to help that goal, to further that goal.
Yeah, I love that. I would also add in some humor. And if you are selling cars, to not just walk a lot, but to just actually because now we're moving in this digital age because we're all at home. And I think guys are looking for creative ways to sell vehicles. My little tip is walk around the car, do a walk around. I never see that.
Rachel, if you're not sending video, I probably skipped over that, but if you're not sending videos to your customers right now, if you're not doing daily videos of cars and introducing yourself to your customer base, or new leads or hot leads, or somebody that left the dealership and didn't buy a car. If you're not using video right now to send to your customers, you're way ahead or way behind the curve. I mean, way behind. And you need to get these apps that will help you do that. But I just think that's self-explanatory now, but I forget there's so many people that aren't doing this right now. So it's very important.
For me, and just in getting into the video world myself, like for me, like I knew it 3 years ago. Like I knew 3 years ago, I'm like, I have to do video. I have to do video. And I'm very good on the phone and I'm very good in person. But it was like, oh my God, I'm putting myself out there and they're going to judge me. Or once it's out there, I can't take it back. There's no deleting. It's live. And so there was a lot of like fear that I had to overcome, but it was a growth for me. I think what people, my advice to people who haven't done video, and I think you can give some too, is my personal advice is just take the first step, just try it once and just keep doing it until you get better at it. What's yours?
First of all, you got to get good with who you are, and then don't worry about it. Okay. See, a lot of people feel that way because they're still insecure about who they are and where, what they're about. Once you might have some deeper issues, not you, but just in general people, if you're not okay with who you are, not secure enough about themselves. Okay. So you gotta go down that road and figure out who you are. But once you do that, then I don't really care. I just send them and be like, here's who I am. And I think that's more of a genuine way. I think when people try to be too perfect, it comes off as fake.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just say that I took so many notes on this show today. I can't even begin to tell you. I was like, born leader, not ready to lead. I love that one. Putting the finite touches on a morning routine are some of the keys to success. We had great mentorships. We don't wait, we create. I love these things. I have so many. There's so many great things. And I just can't begin to thank you for all of the things that you've shared today. Final thoughts, my friend, final thoughts.
Well, I appreciate you. And I want to say that I'm proud of you, right? Proud of you for getting out there, because this isn't something that you felt comfortable with, as you told me earlier, and you put yourself out there and you said, you know what, I'm going to run with it. And that's awesome. More people should do that. Okay. That's how you build your brand, right? That's how you build your brand. You build your brand by taking chances, going for it, right? Stepping out when others say, "Hey, I want to step out, but I'm too fearful." The way you
Mm-hmm.
get the way you get exposure and the way you get noticed is to do the things that other people are scared to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do it, but they have fear of it. If you do it, you're going to be out there in the spotlight. It's like if you had a
Right.
line of people and we're all standing here and they say the one person step forward, you step forward, everybody else stays back. That's what you do when you put yourself out there. And that's what
Right.
real leaders do. So keep doing that, man. You're going to show people that it's okay to do it, but also you're going to
Mm-hmm.
gain more exposure for yourself and for your company. And that's
Right.
really what you want to do at the end of the day.
Right. Awesome. Listen, how can people get in touch with you? I put your stuff up there, but go ahead and share with them how they can do it.
Just follow me on Facebook, Shawn Hayes, your car guy. You can find me. You won't be able to friend me, but you can just hit follow and
Mm-hmm.
follow along. I've had a long journey on this, and I'm not stopping because what I do is I just show you who I am every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you can, if you want to help building your brand, all right, you can get my book. It's free. Shawn Hayes, I'm sorry, Build Your Book. Wait a minute, buildyourbrandthebook.com.
I can put that up really quick. I think I made one for you for that.
Buildyourbrandthebook.net. And you can click on there. It's free. You just got to pay shipping and handling. But other than that, it's free.
Is it .net or .com?
It's .net.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can put that up there. Here we go. If you want to get the book, Build Your Brand, great read there, guys. Shawn Hayes, Sales Hustler. Rise, is it Hustle and Grind?
Hustle and Grind is our company.
Hustle and Grind, books, social media, helping other people. Like, this is the way, guys. And so I'm so grateful to have you on. I appreciate it. If you are interested in being on Car Biz Leaders Lives, please DM me and I will see if I can get you on the show. And Shawn, amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on today. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.